must die.
Hello friends, I'm the Dyslexic Cosplayer, and it's time we take a look at Robotteck. So unless you're coming out of a coma from 8 years ago, first of all, welcome, this is the new century, and everything sucks now. Yeah, most of us aren't going outside at the moment, so I've decided to try and do single episodes of Robotteck to help speed up the process, that way you guys can get more content to watch while you're all trapped inside being bored out of your mind. So with that being said, let's look at the 13th episode of Robotteck and the 4th in our series, Blue Wind. So I've learned a lot from doing this series. One of the things I've learned is if I don't remember an episode, that's probably because nothing actually happens in it. And that's mostly true for this episode. So let's get into it. We're going to start with the 3 trotty spies, whose names utterly escape me, and I'm honestly just too busy to bother trying to remember their names. Which is a little disappointing because they do actually have a through story throughout the rest of the series. But at any rate, they inadvertently discover where to get some clothes, except for some hijinks, and really their entire appearance in this episode seems like something out of the Three Stooges, as well as possibly having some rather modern-day tone-deaf jokes about cross-dressing. Meanwhile, after delivering their message to Global about the Zentradi fleet, Rick and his cohorts are being celebrated as returning space heroes. And for the first time in the series, we actually get a decent, cute moment between him and Minmay. Even if he seems somehow surprised that she's Miss Macross when I thought we'd already established that in a previous episode. But what do I know? I just watched the episodes. One decent thing they've managed to present throughout the episode is just how confused the Zentradi are by all of our human customs.
I don't understand what military purpose all these indicators could possibly serve.
You can be sure there's some kind of sinister purpose at work.
Hey dude, try these sunglasses on, then you'll get it. Can we all just agree that John Carpenter's They Live is one of the greatest subversive movies ever made? I mean, seriously, most of its messages are timeless and still apply even today. Maybe I'll have to do a review on that one at some point. I don't know. That seems like it might just be 15 minutes of me going, squee! I don't think anybody else wants to watch that somehow, though. But meanwhile, Global has realized their only hope for managing to get back to Earth is to break through the blockade that Zentradi have created around SDF-1 and try and force the issue. Something the Commander Onea hasn't been given orders on, so decides to ignore for the time being. So I briefly want to touch on this fact. The Zentradi ships we've seen up until this point are all green. However, Onea's fleet is clearly pink and purple! Wow, can you get any more gender normative? However, of course, Kyron takes the SDF-1's attempt to escape as a personal insult, so orders his ships to destroy SDF-1! Even though the orders up until now have just been to observe it. I really don't know how he hasn't been fired at this point. I mean, literally fired, like out of a cannon. I don't know if they just don't have any other competent officers or not, but whatever. So SDF-1 prepares for an onslaught with the Zentradi, since they're not going to be stopped by a little blockade or Kyron's attempt to destroy them. I also can't help finding this scene more than a little hilarious, as it's clear the narrator is stalling for time to drag out the length of the episode.
And so, while nearing the planet Earth, the great ship transforms itself, swiftly and deliberately, section by section, into a powerful defense complex. When the transformation is complete, the ship braces itself for the renegade alien onslaught.
I mean, seriously, I think we can all agree that was a tiny bit excessive. But as Kyron commences his attack, Onea does not take kindly to this, and decides to break up the formation in order to intervene and prevent him from destroying SDF-1, thus allowing Global to escape. Kyron is not amused.
Because of Onea, I'm robbed of my victory, but I promise you I will not forget this.
It lacks a certain je ne sais quoi, but I'll take it. At any rate, as they begin to fall back to Earth, Global suddenly realizes that maybe a giant, non-aerodynamic spaceship entering the atmosphere at high velocity is a really bad plan. Although fortunately they managed to touch down in the ocean. Unfortunately for several small Pacific island nations, they are now inundated under so much water they can reasonably make claim to be Atlantis. But, you know, the gang's back on Earth! Yay! Now, I did a cursory bit of research, and as far as I can tell, this trip should have taken them at least 9 years. One can safely assume they haven't been gone nearly that long, otherwise, yeah, Rick and Min-May's relationship really does move at a snail's pace. But at any rate, they're back on Earth, and it looks like their troubles are behind them. Well, unless you count the fact that the next episode is going to be a clip show of Global delivering a report of everything they've been going through for the last 13 episodes. Not a terrible framing device, but yeah, I've done that already, Global. You're good. You can stand down. At any rate, I hope you will join me for our next actual episode that follows up on this one, episode 15, Homecoming. Until next time, sign-offs are hard.
Glory to the Zentradi. My name is Commander Britai, and though our culture does not understand the concept of reviews or art, we have found this series most fascinating. If you would like to contribute to this project, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Otherwise, the channel will die like the hopes and dreams of so many empires. And be on the lookout for new series all the time. Also check out the Patreon page of the Dyslexic Cosplayer. All necessary tactical links will be found in the description below.
And now some special thanks for my patrons on Patreon. Drawn by Kenna, Jen Goodnight, Lucy Westera, Norm DePlume. Thank you all so much for your contributions and for making all of this possible.